Guys, welcome to another Founder Wisdom Pod slash CEO Wisdom Pod. We have both with us today. Her name is Cara Bognar. She's a high achiever. She's CEO at Top Tier Lessons. Say high achiever because she's quite young. She's an athlete, and it's weird because she has a biomedical engineering background, and then she has her own startup, and she clearly has the wind in her sails right now. She recruited some of her student friends, and now she's raising some funds. So quite excited to have her on today. This podcast is brought to you by podpire.com. If you want to start, scale, or be invited to a podcast like this one, hit me up at podpire.com. Cara, welcome to the pod. Can you tell us a bit more about yourself and a bit more about Top Tier Lessons?
Yeah, of course. So thank you for the intro, Charles. It's really a pleasure to be here. A little bit more about me is while I go to school at the University of Illinois now, I'm actually a senior, as Charles mentioned, in bioengineering, but I'm originally from Greenville, South Carolina. So a little bit more on down south than coming up to the Midwest for school, but I've been really happy with the transition. For me, I came to Illinois to swim. I love it here. The team was incredible. I really found a family and a home away from home. And with that, we decided to start Top Tier Lessons because there was a bill passed in 2021 that allowed college student athletes to profit and monetize themselves off of their own name, image, and likeness. And so for me, being a college swimmer, looking around, seeing this new market emerge overnight, it was incredibly exciting. I was excited. My teammates were ready to go. This was something that was revolutionizing the world of sports. But we quickly realized that there just wasn't a lot of opportunity for people who weren't that top 1% of athletes, the people you can put their names on back of jerseys and make hundreds of thousands of dollars overnight. So for that, we started Top Tier Lessons as a way for athletes to do what they love on their own time and make money in the process. We're an online platform that matches college student athletes with parents looking for sports lessons for their kids. So we've been running this for about I think we're almost 9 months in generating revenue and continuing to expand marketplaces.
It's very exciting. I've had other folks on the pod that are in the same industry. Maybe I could connect you with them. One was 2 weeks ago, a guy that's also like taking advantage of that. Forgot like what their app was, but he was the CPO there, and apparently people are making a fortune with their brand name and likeliness. Forgot what the acronym for that was. I'm pretty sure you know, Cara, that most students with an idea wouldn't act upon that. I mean, the opportunity is there, right? Like tons of money can be made. Why were you determined enough to make the jump from just being a normal student, which I was also back in the days? Yeah, sure, I was making business happen, but it took me a while to understand I could like fully go all into that and build something great. And moreover, you're also building something way more serious than I was back in these days. So what factors actually pushed you to start such a cool company in a short amount of time as a student?
Of course, it really was a combination of one, finding the right problem, finding the right market. So Top Tier, everything we do here, we are a three-sided marketplace. So we work with parents who come in and book lessons. We work with college athletes who are listing their time availability, pressing post, and teaching the lessons, and also venues. We found a way to help supplement each ecosystem and each community that we move into, bringing in a separate revenue stream for them, as well as guaranteeing that there's a place for our lessons to be held. And with all of these segments, it was something that I was so tied into. I've been that 7-year-old little girl who's been getting ready for her competition and, sees those college athletes who come back to her club and are just starstruck with them. A smile from them meant more to me than anything else in the entire world. And as soon as I realized that I had the opportunity to give that feeling and that experience to hundreds, if not hundreds of thousands of 7, 10, 15-year-olds across the country, like who I was, it was something I wanted to dive headfirst into. And there is something special about starting a business while you're still a student and while you're still in university. In my opinion, it is the absolute best time to do it. I had one of my earliest professors come to me and he asked us all in the class, he said, raise your hand if you own a house. And none of us raised our hand. We're 19 at the time. And some 19-year-olds are doing some awesome stuff and they are homeowners, but none of us were. He said, raise your hand if you're married. Again, none of us were. And what about kids? And none of us raised our hands. So he turned around and he said, you have minimal risk. What better time than to put yourself out there? You guys are excited, you're dynamic, you're willing to learn, and you're ready to go out into the world and truly make a difference. And I took that to heart. So ever since then, I've realized that the biggest thing is just setting a goal and doing what you need to do to not just see it, not just map and plan the way to get there, but go ahead and actually execute. And I really feel that's the difference between, having an idea and it could be the best idea in the entire world. But if you're not willing to put yourself out there and take that risk that you might fail and attempt to execute and actually go through with it, then nothing's ever going to come of it.
You need to get that professor on my podcast because I fully agree with him. If there's first, humans need to take risk if they want to grow. You can't, in my opinion, I very much subscribe to Tony Robbins' 1% better daily. If you grow, happiness is like a byproduct of that. And as a student, sure, you can have good grades, you can study, you can have the party life I didn't like too much because I think it set me back quite a lot. Back in these days, there's a lot of toxicity in there, like rapes and misbehaving because people put all their pent up energy in there and they go really fucking wild, especially in university and college. And I was one of these wild kids. But that apart, I think as a student, you don't have much opportunities to grow. If you get a normal job, it will pay you average, but the growth is just not there. So I can see that in you. You're definitely smart. I think your parents did a great job with your education. That's one factor. I also think that sports brought you a different mindset. Being a swimmer, you and I, we talked about long distance swimming. I mean, you had that demon in your head telling you like, look, I need to stop. I cannot do it anymore. My muscles are hurting. My lungs are on fire. Just swallowed some water. I think that brought you a different mindset. Am I right in saying that?
Absolutely. I think sports are one of the, it's the biggest competition stage in the world. No matter which sport you are, where you're competing, what country you are, you're always under some sort of just intense pressure to take it to that next level. And especially for people who've been able to, fall in love with the sport as much as college athletes have and be able to do that while balancing being a full-time student, being a full-time athlete, and giving everything every day to their teammates. There's skills that you learn there that you're really hard pressed to find anywhere else. I've been lucky enough to watch this in my teammates. Half of our team right now at Top Tier Lessons are current college athletes. And you can see that growth mindset, that mentality to always keep persevering, pushing forward, and the competitive nature too. It works so well because as an early stage startup, you're always running around, you're always patching a hole, you're in a ship, you're trying to build it into, a yacht, but you're still patching those holes in the side with the water coming in. And to be able to continue building while still running around and making sure everything is working is being an athlete has truly helped me, especially understand what it means to essentially not give up when times get hard.
I'm about to go crunch a 30-kilometer run today. What
Nice.
advice do you have for me if my bitch comes out and tells me to stop, or that my stomach is hurting, or that my legs are not following?
Focus on the goal. Focus on the goal at the end. That's always the way to do it. You know where you want to go. You're running 30 kilometers. It's a long way, but you're not going to feel very good if you make it 15 in and you decide that you're done. It's going to weigh on you for a couple of days and you're going to want to get back out there. And, you might not always make it to the goal every time, but for me, at least, you got to live with yourself knowing that you put 100% in to get as far as you can. And even if you only made it 20 kilometers and you did 100% to get there, you get up, you wake up the next day and you try again. So being an athlete isn't never failing. It's knowing that when you do fail, you're ready to get up on the horse the next day, maybe get beaten down again, but keep going forward. And maybe then you'll get 21, 22, 23, and eventually you will still hit 30.
Right. So something disturbing started happening in me like not so long ago. So I'm an ultra athlete, and recently I've been kind of eating too much right before going, and my stomach is hurting for real. Like, yeah, at a very high level. So two times I cut short on my goals. And then I'm the very much A type and OCD type, right? So normally I would torture myself because I came back home without finishing my goal. But I think it's like I'm at that higher maturity stage in which like I'm not torturing myself for not finishing it. And I call these moments like vengeance. So today is like in my calendar, it says vengeance. So last time I didn't complete the 30, I stopped at 15 because yeah, it was like either I'm gonna shit myself, yeah, in a park in front of everyone, or I'm gonna go back home and do the civilized thing. Um, and now like it's vengeance time today. So in my case, I think it'd be like not overeat like a pig right before, right? I think my stomach does not do good with some foods, and you're pretty much like this the same when you start a swimming competition. You need to have your nutrition settled down. And yeah, I'll think about you if it gets hard, and I'll try to yeah crunch that one because 100K is coming pretty soon. So I absolutely need to be on track there, on schedule. Now I want to ask you though, your biomedical engineering studies, are you going to finish them or are you going to cut that short? And what have you learned from that you're applying in your current business?
For sure. So I am planning on finishing up with graduation. So I'll be graduating this spring, 2024. So we're really in the home stretch now. I'm a senior. We got about 8 months left of school, which is it's a crazy point to be at in your life. It feels like it's that big transition between, we've all been half adulting in college. There's still a little bit of hand holding. It's not truly the real world, but at the same time, you're getting ready to approach that kind of final mountain, or at least that's how it feels for a lot of us. And so for me in engineering, and I think you'll ask a lot of engineers and they'll probably tell you the same thing. In college, they just teach us how to do hard stuff. So we take a lot of classes, there's a lot of math, physics, everything in between, and it's all pretty hard. None of it's like it's mentally draining. But for me, that's taught me in top tier, while I might not be solving differential equations or computing the area and the flow of like volume through lungs and just things like that. It's allowed me to essentially reshape my mind, my mentality towards how I approach problems, understand how to figure out a solution, see those steps, think logically, and in a very structured mindset way and mentality. And even for engineers who are graduating and going into engineering, a lot of what they learn is in industry. It's not necessarily specific skills that they learned in college. And through that, people are really just looking for, do you essentially have what it takes to solve problems? And do you enjoy the steps that it takes to do them? So I think the University of Illinois has done a really great job at helping me along that path. While it might not be directly applicable, all of the soft skills that we have been taught are extremely relevant.
My feeling is that you're gonna start med tech or yeah biotech company later on in your life. I mean, how fascinating is it to save people's lives? You know, what more passionate thing can you do? And that even more so, like in my case, I'm into lots of things nowadays, but I want to invest most of my time into saving people's life. You know, what better gift than that? Want to ask you about the current platform, top tier lessons. So I love it. What did you build it on? By the way, is it like a no code platform? Is it like Webflow or something?
No, it is all done React, actually. It's not a no code platform. We've
Pretty
coded it
cool.
from scratch the entire way.
Okay.
But we didn't start with a fully flushed code platform because, of
Okay.
course, for us, it's all about how do you validate your product before
There
you
you
even
go.
market. So
There
what
you
we
go.
did is we actually started with an Eventbrite and a spreadsheet. As simple as that. So back in January, we hosted a free clinic for kids in the community to kick off 9 weeks of paid swim lessons.
Mhm.
And for us, that was incredibly successful. We had a 17% conversion rate from signups into paid lessons. And at the end of those 3 months, that was our earliest pilot. We had taught over 80 lessons with an 81% retention rate from those customers who booked with us on week
Mhm.
one. And all of that was done using 0 lines of code. Hardly, it was my teammates out there in the water. We were setting them up on the weekends. We were doing what we could to essentially just show the world that, hey, we're building something awesome here.
Yeah.
And there's people out there that are interested in what we're building.
Yeah.
And so that was the day that we were able to host that clinic and get everyone out there, was one of the most just like inspiring days that I've ever had, because while we hadn't fully built a platform, we hadn't gone into multiple markets, we haven't pushed a massive company like that, it essentially proved that when you have an idea and you can see the steps and you see the big goal, that you can take that first jump and, get your first customer through the door and see the real impact of that, which
Mm,
I think is something really special about top tier,
yeah.
because other companies you might spend years doing R&D and
Mm,
having to figure out like what works, what doesn't. You're in the lab, you're back and forth. But for us, with every lesson that we teach, every time that we host an event, we get to see the real impact right in front of us. I can go to a lesson right now and I watch that child interact with that athlete. I see the smile on their face. I watch them be inspired
yeah.
and just everything that comes with that. And
Right.
for me, that's really the reason why I keep doing what I do, why
Yeah.
we keep going forward, because every time we hit a new milestone, it means that we can bring that experience to more kids. And
Very
with that,
important.
it's just so rewarding.
It is. I still also remember my first PayPal sale, when my first nootropic, that my first business that I started in uni was a nootropic for students. And I still remember the 26.99 hitting my PayPal. That was such a special moment. And I also remember students coming up to me and be like, yo, Charles, your supplement, it really helped me focus for my exams, really helped me to study and so forth. So yeah, that was beautiful. We had to shut that one down, unfortunately. Coming back to your website, yeah, the React is pretty cool. It's lightning fast, right? So you need a great product. That's amazing. I would have, yeah, start with Bubble and a Calendly and a Stripe checkout, it's like instant product, and see if there can be product market fit. Question for you I have is, well, I have multiple of them because yeah, we're ending this pod and just want to make sure I get like a couple of more insights in. First, are you thinking of onboarding more mentors? Because I see like there's very few of them in like basket, swimming, soccer. Then will you expand in other categories and be like pretty much national? And finally, what do you think of students being great coaches? Like, do you think, because they're young, right? They don't have that much experiment, but they do have that energy. Is there advantages and disadvantages to that? So 3 questions in one. I'm testing your memory here, Cara.
Ooh, okay, let's see if I can hit them. So first, yes, of course, we are bringing on more athletes really as we speak. Right now, we are in our second week of school. So everyone is just coming back to campus they had about 3 weeks over the summer. So we're slowly getting them trickling back on the platform. And we're also going to be expanding sports. So our next ones are going to be baseball, softball, tennis, and kind of continue iterating there. Because as of now, we just have swimming, basketball, soccer, and we've had some football coaches with us as well. Biggest thing is we'll be moving up to Chicago pretty soon. So really excited to bring on some more schools, some more athletes, some more markets, and kind of test how we work in an urban market instead of a typical rural market. So average America. Um, Lastly, with coaches, and see, you almost got me there with memory.
Good.
So with our coaches, I truly believe that there is something to be said about having a college student or a college athlete as your coach. Yes, they bring that next level of energy. They're excited, they're passionate about what they do, they care. But on top of that, everyone who's been able to make it to that next level of college athletics brings years of experience in their sport. Myself, I'm in my, I think, 17th year of competitive swimming by the age of 21, which is pretty much most of my life. So I've been able to be exposed to a variety of coaches, coach myself in a variety of environments. And on top of that, our coaches are uniquely positioned to not just be a coach, but role models and mentors to the kids who they're able to associate with. As we talked about earlier, there's many more skills that you learn as a college athlete and really just a college student in general that you might not see emphasized as much with people that you're getting that are older, younger, or really other coaches right not there. So our coaches are posed to be in a very specific position where if you are 13 and your friends are being pretty mean to you on your soccer team, and you're not really sure how to handle this whole teamwork thing and sportsmanship and walking through those. Our coaches are there, and they're cool enough that they're approachable to kids. They feel like they can ask those questions. They can develop relationships, long-lasting bonds that they're able to keep through the rest of their sports career. And that's why I truly feel that our platform is not just going to be bringing improvements in sports, but also helping kids stay in sports longer, especially young women, fall in love with their sport again, figure out what's best for them specifically, and really help work through a lot of those pressures that you have just competing in a sport at any age and any level.
Love it, Cara. Where can people find out more about you and your company?
Of course, they can go on to www.toptierlessons.com or Cara Bognar on LinkedIn. I'm always available for questions. You can also email me at cara@toptierlessons.com. So always available for anything else, and would love to just have a chat.
And I am Charles, your host of CEOWisdompodcast.com. That was Cara Bognar.